Every single day, we're all making decisions based on data, whether we even realize it or not. I mean, think about it. From the route you take to work to what you decide to binge watch at night. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole process. We're going on a journey to see how we transform all those raw, messy facts into the clear insights that literally drive our world. Right now, we are absolutely surrounded by data points. It's like we're drowning in this giant sea of facts, a constant flood that can just feel like, well, noise. So the big question is, how do we cut through all that chaos to find the signal? How do we find the actual meaning that lets us move forward? That's exactly what we're here to break down. All right, so our journey has to begin at the most fundamental level. We've got to understand the critical difference between data and information. Now, I know it sounds super simple, but this distinction, it is the absolute key to unlocking the power in all those facts and figures. So first up, what even is data? The best way to think about it is like raw ingredients for a recipe. You've got a list of sales numbers, a bunch of customer names, maybe some temperature readings. On their own, they're just these isolated facts. They tell us what exists, but they give us zero context, no direction. They're just there. Now, this is where the magic happens. This is the transformation. When we take that raw data and we process it, organize it, give it some context, it becomes information. Information is the finished dish. It's no longer just a random list of sales. Suddenly, it's a report showing our best-selling product. It answers that all-important question, okay, but what does this mean? Let's put it this way. Data is the raw input. It's the jumble of unorganized facts that just answers what. Information, on the other hand, is the processed output. It's the organized context that answers the much, much more powerful question, so what? And that right there is the leap from just knowing something exists to truly understanding why it matters. Okay, let's make this super real. Imagine you're running a retail store. The raw data is every single transaction. The item sold, the price, the time it happened. In a giant spreadsheet, that's pretty meaningless, right? But then we analyze it. We see that a certain product sells out every single Friday and that the store gets slammed during lunchtime. Boom, that's information. And with that info, we can make smart decisions, like ordering way more of that product and scheduling extra staff for the lunch rush. See? That's the journey in action. So once we have our hands on some data, we've hit a fork in the road. We have to understand its nature and where it came from. Because to process it correctly, you've got to know what kind of data you're looking at and its origin. That's going to determine everything about how you can actually use it. So down one path, we've got quantitative data. This is all about the numbers, revenue figures, test scores, simple counts. It answers questions like how many or how much. But on the other path, we have qualitative data. This stuff is descriptive. Think customer reviews, interview answers, observations. It gives us the why behind all those numbers. And listen, both are incredibly valuable, but you have to know which one you're dealing with. And then there's the whole question of where it came from. Primary data is the stuff you collect yourself for a specific project, like sending out your own customer survey. It's perfectly tailored to what you need, but man, it can be costly and slow. Then you've got secondary data, which is stuff someone else already collected, like a big government report. It's way faster and cheaper, but it might not be a perfect fit for what you're trying to do. It's always a trade-off between getting exactly what you want and the resources you have. Okay, now we're entering what I'd call the most dangerous part of our journey, the gauntlet. Because here's the stone-cold truth. Not all data is good data. Before you can trust it to lead you to a smart decision, you have to be absolutely sure it can survive some serious scrutiny. And the stakes? They could not be higher. Using unreliable data isn't just some minor mistake. No way. It can actively send your entire strategy down the completely wrong path, costing you money, customers, and even your reputation. It is a risk that nobody can afford to take. And the dangers here are so specific and real. I mean, if your sample is biased, let's say you only survey your happiest customers, you've just created a massive blind spot. If your survey questions are confusing, you're going to get useless answers. Heck, even a few simple typos in data entry can completely derail a financial forecast. The end result is always the same: bad decisions and a whole lot of wasted effort. So how do we get around all this? How do we get reliable insights without spending a lifetime and a fortune to do it? Well, this is where we get clever. We use the power of sampling. It's this brilliant idea that you don't actually have to count every single tree to understand the whole forest. Let's look at another scenario. Say you want to understand the donation habits of 500 people. Trying to contact all 500 of them would be a huge, expensive project. It's just not practical. So what's the solution? How many do you really need to talk to get the picture? Well, the answer lies in this really powerful statistical tool called Yamane's formula. Now, don't let the formula scare you. Think of it as our map. It gives us a precise, mathematically sound way to figure out the minimum number of people we need to talk to get a reliable picture of the entire group. So when you plug the numbers for our 500 donors into that formula, using a pretty standard margin of error, you get this: 222. That's it. That's the magic number. That's all it takes. And here's the super simple breakdown of how we got there. N is our total population. That's the 500 donors. E is our margin of error we're okay with, usually about 5%. You just plug those two numbers in, and the formula spits out N, our required sample size, 222. It's a clear, repeatable process, not some wild guess. So what's the big takeaway here? The crucial point is this. By intelligently studying just 222 people, we can confidently make conclusions about all 500 of them. We save an enormous amount of time and money, and we still get insights we can actually trust. That right there is the incredible efficiency and power of smart sampling. So, we've seen that data isn't just some boring collection of facts. Not at all. It's a raw material that's just filled with potential stories. Stories of trends, problems, and amazing opportunities. And this whole journey we talked about, from data to information to a smart decision, is exactly how we unlock those stories. So the question I'll leave you with is this: what story is your data just waiting to tell?